Buhari will participate in other high-level meetings and side events, including the Nigerian International Economic Partnership Forum, convened by Nigeria in partnership with the Business Council for International Understanding and Strengthening Coordination. President Buhari will also hold strategic bilateral meetings with world leaders, renowned investors, and heads of multinational organizations while in New York. The president will be accompanied by his wife Aisha Buhari, some governors, ministers, and top government officials. In the meantime, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will depart Abuja for London to represent Nigeria at a number of events tomorrow and on Monday, including the state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. Professor Osinbajo is expected to meet members of the Commonwealth, heads of state, governors general, prime ministers, and foreign royal families at the ceremonies, including the funeral service scheduled for Westminster Abbey on Monday. This is contained in a statement by the VP's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Mr. Laolu Akonde. The Vice President will return to the country after Monday's state funeral for Queen Elizabeth II. The Chief Press Secretary to Governor Adegboyega Otola, Mr. Ismail Omikpidon, has described the claim by the Youth Initiative for Advocacy Growth and Advancement YAGA Africa that he twisted facts as untrue and misleading. In a statement in Osogbo, Mr. Omikpidon said all he did was to analyze the outcome of the July 16 election as presented by the group on Thursday, September 9, and urged the civil society organization not to allow itself be misled. The Chief Press Secretary is reacting to the rejoinder by YAGA, where the group accused the governor's spokesman of twisting out facts. Mr. Omikpidon wondered which report YAGA read to have drawn that kind of conclusion on his person and personality, arguing that what he did in his article was simply to place the reports of YAGA side by side with Otola's petition before the tribunal, subject both to critical analysis and make his deductions therefore. According to him, all the submissions he used in his earlier statement were in the YAGA's report verbatim. Accreditation through BVAS was less than the number of votes cast in those units, and that by implication there were more voters than accredited by the BVAS, and gave a few examples to buttress his argument. YAGA has said that Mr. Omikpidon in his article twisted its findings on the 2022 governorship election to look as if it had taken positions on the winner or loser in the election, which is now being challenged by the APC and its candidate, Mr. Adegboyega Otola, before the Election Petition Tribunal. Meanwhile, the primary of the All Progressives Congress APC for the local government elections in Osun State took place today. The State Secretary of the party, Honorable Kamaru Alao, discloses in an interview with newsmen that the exercise was peaceful throughout the state. According to him, the primary was conducted to elect APC candidates for chairmanship and councillorship posts. As at the time of the interview, Honorable Alao said collations of the result of the primary were going on at various designated centers. The local government election is fixed for 15th of next month. The newly sworn-in chairman, National Association of Community Health Practitioners Osun State Chapter, Comrade Adewale Adedapo, has promised to widen the scope of community health practitioners both in the state and national to his standard. Comrade Adedapo made a promise while taking oath of office at the Association Secretariat, Owodiede. Details are now presented from our studios.
Delegates across local government and area offices in the state of Osun gathered at Community Health Practitioners Secretariat Owodiede to elect new set of officers to drive the vehicle of the leadership of the grassroots health practitioners. Present and former leaders at the state and national levels were not left out. Trade Union Congress Chairman in Osun State, Comrade Adebowale Adekola, and the National Electoral Body of Association of Community Health Practitioners, led by Alhaji Karim Oriola, is on the ground to monitor the process. The event also enabled the outgoing chairman, Comrade Olatunji Olaniyi, to present his scorecard of 2 times of leading the association, such as building and commissioning of ultramodern secretariat named after the late Oluwo of Iwo Land, Oba Ashiru Tadeshe, promotion of health practitioners up to level 17 cadre in the state civil service, placing priority on membership welfare, among others. The event climaxed with one voice to elect competent hands to various offices, and oath of office were conducted by the National Electoral Body of Community Health Practitioners in Nigeria through Alhaji Karim Oriola. In his acceptance speech, the newly elected chairman, National Association of Community Health Practitioners in Osun State, Comrade Adewale Adedapo, appreciated God for the journey so far and eulogized leaders, delegates, and members of the association for trust reposed in him to paddle the canoe of the association. Comrade Adewale Adedapo promised to widen the scope of the community health practitioners both at the state and at the national levels. While calling for support of leaders and members of the association, Comrade Adedapo urged the members to imbibe the spirit of acquiring more knowledge in line with the global best practices. In their separate remarks, former chairman Comrade Olabisi Adewumi and TUC chairman Comrade Adebowale Adekola advised the new executive members to run an all-inclusive government. They also enjoined the health practitioners at the grassroots to see the job of caregivers as a calling from God. Other executive members, including Comrade Adeyemi Muritala and Comrade Akande Fumilola as first and second vice chairman, Comrade Abiola Degbore as state secretary, Comrade Osungbade Adeyemi auditor, Comrade Oguniran Ganiyat as treasurer, Comrade Adebowale Akanpe as assistant state secretary, Comrade Anima Munisola as the trustee, and Comrade Ibiyemi Oluwatoyin as the publicity secretary of the Osun State chapter of the National Association of Community Health Practitioners.
In the meantime, the general manager of Osun State Waste Management Agency, Mr. Oyewole Oladoshu, says the Environmental Sanitation and Protection Law of the state forbid any individual or group of persons from engaging in indiscriminate refuse dump and rearing of domestic animals in unauthorized places. Mr. Oladoshu gave this indication today in Osogbo while exchanging views with OSBC News, maintained that anybody caught violating the all-important sanitation law and order will be dealt with severely. He noted that waste is the aftermath of population explosion, stressing that there would more waste in the society as the population is increasing on a daily basis. The general manager of Osun State Waste Management Agency advised the general public to reside in a very neat environment, stressing that the menace of indiscriminate refuse dump has been in existence for years, a situation he noted that the government bear any longer and ready to curb it forthwith.
Government we can only assist. Don't forget, if contract has a lifespan, until the expiration of that particular lifespan, no major repair can be done. They can only start renovation, probably little effort they can make. The one along the Gbami axis were constructed by the federal government. The state government does not have much impact, because if they have worked with the state government, that particular canal, the construction will have been different. So the state government is working on that. They have written the federal government so that all those errors can be corrected. Then the community itself, the community member, have to take care of their canal, the one constructed with concrete or any other one. Why? If you are not doing the needful, definitely there's going to be a problem. So government is just to open up. The community are supposed to maintain. When you maintain it and you're able to sustain it, it's going to last a very long period of time.
So Oyewole maintains that the Unhygienic Act is capable of causing severe havoc of high magnitude, like food disaster like that of Ogunpa, flood disaster like that of Ogunpa of Old Oyo State. Said the State Waste Management Agency is leaving no stone unturned to par ruthlessly with anybody caught dumping refuse and dirt. According to Mr. Oladoshu, law prohibiting roaming about of domestic animals in streets and communities are still in force. This is the news across the country coming to you from Osun State Broadcasting Corporation, Ilawiye Okebale Osogbo, Voice of the West. Now, our mid-news message. As As you wine and dine today, let moderation be your watchword. OSBC Entertainment News segment today chronicles the changing face of gospel music in Nigeria. Olaolu Olu Ojegbeje has more.
I have seen the future.
The Nigerian music industry is evolving as it gets bigger as time passes. A major part of the industry which has not enjoyed much attention like the secular music is the gospel music. Although Afro-pop movement gains global recognition, Nigerian gospel music is also gaining wider acceptance. This is, however, a fact not many people have come to terms with. The Nigerian gospel music has depths in the introduction of choral music in Nigeria by the UK-based Church Missionary Society (CMS). Not long after, Nigeria's first recorded artist, Reverend Josiah Ransom Kuti, who was also the grandfather of Fela Anikulapo Ransom Kuti, pioneered another version of choral music. He began translating Christian hymns into indigenous music with Yoruba and new rhythmic structures. At that time, he was a Christian organist at the St. Peter Church, Ake, Abe Okuta. One of the songs he pioneered is Jesu Niseibo. Some 10 years ago, the dominant Christian songs in many Christian homes were the voices of Tokpe Alabi, Infinity Groups, Olori Oko, Bola Are, Kola Akeade, also known as Shewele Jesu. The good thing is that many of these names have not become extinct. They comfortably exist side by side with contemporary names like Nathaniel Bassey, Mercy Chinwo, Sinach, Ada Eyi, among others. Today, gospel music is no longer bound to the walls of church. Aside the edifying content in gospel music, it is also important to discuss its socio-economic importance on the Nigerian entertainment industry. The social impact of the changing face of gospel music in Nigeria is the wider acceptance it is enjoying among believers and non-believers. Gone are those days when Christian music cannot be enjoyed at parties. Today, Christian couples prefer gospel music at their parties. To this effect, we now have Christian DJs. This is largely because newer gospel artists have found ways to transform the traditional gospel music style. They now incorporate pop, jazz, rock, rap, Afro-pop to create their unique styles. The works of music acts such as Limbo Blaze, Spirit of Prophecy, and Endless Ocean, etc. testify to this.
Baby, what? Say what? Say what? Let's go. Are you ready for step 2? Are you ready for step 2? 1, 2, 3, let's go.
The economic impact of this is that if gospel music is given the same attention as secular music, the untapped economic advantage is vast. A good place to start is the inclusion of gospel music in the Nigerian Music Awards, such as the Eddies. There is a growing space for Nigerian music in the global music market, and definitely, as Afrobeats takes the world, Nigerian gospel music is on its way to gaining international recognition.
Ay, 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 glory be to God. Ay, 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 glory be to God. Hallelujah, hallelujah, glory be to God. Hallelujah, hallelujah, glory be to God. Hey!
Lolade Olu Ojegbeje for OSBC Entertainment News.
The 40th Synergy President, Rotary Club of Oshogbo, Barrister Tunde Adedokun, has called on the members of the club to rally support for his administration to succeed. Barrister Adedokun made a call today in Oshogbo at his official investiture ceremony. Olade Adigbenro was there. A report.
Members of Rotary Club of Oshogbo gathered today to witness the official investiture ceremony of their 40th Synergy President, induction of new members and launching of the star projects of the club. In his valedictory speech, the immediate past president of the club, Rotarian Matthew Asake, advised the new president to carry members along in all activities they will be embarking on and to always consult before undergoing any project of his choice. Rotarian Asake, who was represented by Rotarian Niya Akinshola, urged the members of the club to be supportive to the new administration, noting that it is Herculean job not meant to be done in isolation.
Rotary is about giving to humanity, and my advice to the current president is to carry along all his members in all the activities of Rotary and to consult before they undergo any project of his choice.
In his maiden address, the new president, Rotarian Tunde Adedokun, expressed delight to all members of the club, stressing that his administration will do everything within its reach to move the club to greater heights. Rotarian Adedokun noted that his primary focus will include membership development and retention, as well as construction of modern boreholes, among others. He then urged members to work with him in the spirit of unity.
We should expect, reasonable projects that we do for the our community around us. We need the support of our members because as a leader of Rotary Club of Oshogbo, I cannot do it alone.
Addressing the gathering, the father of the day, Justice Olayinka Afolabi, promised to support the new administration with everything within his capacity. The event climaxed with the induction of new club members, cash donations, presentations of vulcanizing machine and oven gas cooker, among others. Olaide Adegbenro, OSBC News.
Enugu State Police Command has assured the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) of its support in the fight against financial and economic crimes in the state. The State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ahmed Hamani, gave the assurance in Enugu during the courtesy call by EFCC Zonal Commander, Mr. Johnson Oshodi. Earlier, Mr. Oshodi commended the Commissioner of Police for his high sense of integrity and professionalism. The first Wulimat Quran of Darul Model College Ifonshin comes up tomorrow morning at the Makas premises behind Elesi Primary School Ifonshin, released by the management of the college. Ustaz Mohammed Jamil Aralamo indicates that the finalists of the day include Oluidi Roko Oba Abdulatif Okoye, a business tycoon Alaji Amzat Aralamo, and the provost of Osun State College of Education Elisha, Dr. Akamo Mutulab. The program will feature 6 graduates in various categories and special prayers for the school, the management, students, parents, and the community as a whole. The statement holds that the Wulimat Quran will hold under 7 distinguished chairmen and 3 eminent chairpersons, with an Islamic scholar and senior advocate of Nigeria, Alhaji Mahmoud Kola Additional, as the guest lecturer on the occasion. Also scheduled to speak at the program is Alhaji Abdul Abdulaziz. A Chinese man has allegedly stabbed his lover, identified as Humakuslum Sani Buhari, to death at Jambulo Quarters, Kumso local government area of Kano State. It was gathered that the incident occurred when the Chinese visited the 23-year-old deceased at her parents' house. Information has it that there was a little misunderstanding between them, prompting the accused to call his girlfriend's name repeatedly, and she was said to have ignored his calls. Speaking with newsmen, the mother of the deceased demanded justice as she narrated the affair between her daughter and the Chinese. When contacted by newsmen, the police populations officer in Kano, Abdullahi Haruna Kiyawa, confirmed the incident. Wife of the Osun State Governor, Mrs. Kamfaya Toyotola, has emphasized the importance of sporting activities as a strong unifying factor that encourages unity, cohesion, harmony, and oneness between participants. Mrs. Oyetola said this at the grand finale of an annual all-women football tournament organized by the wife of the Edo State Governor, Mrs. Bessie Obaseki. Details are now presented from our studios.
Osun State First Lady and Chairperson Southern Governors Wives Forum, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, expressed strong conviction in sporting activities as one of the ways to curtailing the hydra-headed monster called drug abuse. She noted that it has done a lot of havoc to youths and adults alike in the country. Mrs. Oyetola stressed that the youths are the most vulnerable of drug abuse and other antisocial behaviors, which she noted sadly impeded their self-worth, growth, and lofty ambitions, particularly if not checked quickly. The chairperson, Nigerian Governors Wives Forum, Erelu Bisi Fayemi, in her remarks at the occasion streamlined the need for women to always live up to their daily responsibilities of giving their children and wards the needed moral and educational tutelage while still young. Mrs. Fayemi commended the good spirit behind the effort of the wife of Edo State Governor, Mrs. Bestie Obaseki, stressing that the gesture will go a long way in making youth shun acts capable of truncating their present and future ambitions. She lauded the initiative of Mrs. Obaseki in using a football tournament as a veritable tool to curtailing drug abuse among the youths in Edo State. Earlier, in her address of welcome, Mrs. Bestie Obaseki thanked the wife of Osun State Governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, and the wives of other state governors in the country for coming to identify with her success story in Edo State, particularly in using sports as a rallying point to eradicate the menace of drug abuse. Mrs. Obaseki particularly acknowledged and appreciated the strong support of Osun State First Lady, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, who, according to her, was also present in Benin, Edo State, during the maiden edition of the sporting tournament last year. Wives of the governors in attendance, including Ekiti, Oyo, Ogun, Bayelsa, Abia, Sokoto, Enugu Delta, and Imo, among others, were unanimous in their commendation for the wife of Edo State Governor for putting together such an annual sporting tournament in football, particularly for women in Edo State. The annual all-women football tournament with the theme "Say No to Drug" was held at Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City, Edo State. Also provided an opportunity for all the wives of the governors in attendance to voice out, as usual, their readiness to do the needful at all times. Edo, Queens, and FC Robo slugged it out during the grand finale, which eventually produced FC Robo as the year 2022 champion of the tournament. Cash prizes and certificate of participation were later awarded to the referees, coaches, and players.
Meanwhile, Super Eagles head coach Jose Posehiro has given club Brugge midfielder Rafael Onyedika his first call-up with the men's national team ahead of the high-profile international friendly match for the Desert Foxes of Algeria on the 27th of this month. Omotayo Adebodu has the details.
OSBC has invited 25 players ahead of the Super Eagles international friendly match with Algeria, which comes up on the 27th of September in Oran. The 25-man squad for the high-profile friendly was published on the Super Eagles Twitter handle, and the quartet of Wilfred Ndidi, Kelvin Apoguma, Chidera Ejuke, and Maduka Okoye are making a return to the squad, while Club Brugge midfielder Rafael Onyedika gets a first call-up. Other players invited for the friendly are skipper Ahmed Musa, Francis Uzo, Adebayo Adeleye, William Trust Ekong, Leon Balogun, Saidu Sanusi, Olaoluwa Aina, Calvin Bassey, Chidozie Awazim, and Moses Simon. Also listed are Kelechi Iheanacho, Henry Oyekuru, Terem Murphy, Cyril Desas, Alex Iwobi, Taiwo Awoniyi, Ademola Lukman, Samuel Chukwueze, Frank Onyeka, and Kenneth Omeru. Algeria will host the Eagles inside the Stade Olympique de Oran. The Eagles will be looking for their first win against Algeria since 2016, where they beat the North African 3-1 in Uyo during the 2018 World Cup qualifiers. Since then, Algeria has won the last 3 meetings between the two countries. Meanwhile, Super Falcons coach Randy Wadron has called up 22 players for next month's international friendly match against the senior women national team of Japan in Kobe. The match holds at the Novia Stadium, Kobe, on the 6th of October. The team is dominated by regular players and also welcomes 4 members of the under-20 girls that reached the last 8 at the under-20 Women's World Cup in Costa Rica in August. Among the players invited for the game are Rashidat Ajibade, Asisat Oshuala, Chiamaka Onandioze, Osinachi Ohali, Wale and Ashley Pomle, Regina Otu, Alimatu Ainde, Ngozi Okobi, Uchenna Kano, Gift Monday, Vivian Ikechukwu and Tony Pan. The match serves as a continuation of the Falcons' preparation for next year's World Cup final in Australia and New Zealand. It comes just a week after a 2-match tour of the United States of America in which they lost 0-4 and 1-2 to the U.S. women's national team. In the meantime, Nigeria Sand Eagles will face host Mozambique, Malawi and Morocco in the first round of the Beach Soccer African Cup of Nations scheduled for Mozambique in October. The group pairing of the tournament were revealed during the final draw held in the Mozambican capital city of Maputo.
Report just reaching us says the Osun State chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Prince Boyega Famodo, has commended all members of the party for trooping out en masse to take part in the local government council primary elections that were successfully conducted across the state today. Prince Famodo, in a statement by his media advisor, Kola Olabisi in Osogbo, the state capital, explained that the interest shown by the members was an indication that the APC is still very popular in the state. The state APC chairman enjoined the party members to keep up the tempo of their unalloyed support and loyalty to the party, as the effort will not be in vain. He explained further that the massive turnout during the party's primary election was an indication that the incoming council election would be a grand success. Prince Famodo appealed to the people of the state to continue the sustainability of their confidence in the people-oriented administration of Governor Adegboyega Ojola's, which positive impact is being felt across the states. And to end the news across the country, here again at the major point, President Muhammadu Buhari will tomorrow morning depart Abuja for New York, United States of America, to attend the 77th section of the United Nations General Assembly. The General Manager of Osun State Waste Management Agency, Mr. Oyewole Oladoshu, said that the Environmental Sanitation and Protection Law of Osun State forbid any individual or group of persons from engaging in indiscriminate refuse dump and rearing of domestic animals in an unauthorized places. OSBC Entertainment News segment today focused on the changing face of gospel music in the country. And wife of the Osun State Governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, has emphasized the importance of sporting activities as a strong unifying factor that encourages unity, cohesion, harmony, and oneness between participants. That was the news across the country, edited by Adeniyi Kehinde and delivered by Olushola Egbodofo. Good evening.
It's entertaining, it's educating, really informative, qualitative news as it breaks. It's OSBC.